time once again for the Real People Multi-Game Solitaire Mega Tournament. We're in the Buralti leg of the tournament doing Shogun. Just a reminder for those of you just joining us, which I don't know why you join right at the end of the game, but maybe because that's the most exciting part. But for you, it's not the most exciting part. For me, the beginning of the game is the most exciting part. Anyway, for those of you who are just joining us for some reason, and by us I mean me and our Shogun here, Betty Crocker, the loser of this game will be eliminated, but everyone else will go on to the next game, which is Warrior Knights. I believe the winner will get some sort of bonus. I might do some bonus based on placement, especially for this game. I think that's important because Shogun seems to be more geared towards the winner rather than who is eliminated. I haven't played Warrior Knights in a while though, so I'd have to give a read through of the rules to figure out what those bonuses will be. So again, for those of you just joining us, each turn we've been focusing on a different character with the exception of the first turn of the game. This final turn we are going to be focusing on the Shogun, which is sort of the returning champion in a way in terms of just this particular game, Betty Crocker. And so I actually haven't read to any of you anything about Betty Crocker as part of the tournament. Only in the original Shogun video did I do that. So Betty Crocker is a game designer, which I think is very interesting. To play a game with a game designer. Now, game designers aren't necessarily good game players, I don't think. So that doesn't mean he's going to be the best in the world. He's no Monopoly champion. His secret fantasy is to sail around the world. He likes movement, which I think we've seen some in this game. He's been one of the more mobile players, I think. He started off primarily in the east with some southern presence, but now he's kind of moved up north and towards the center of the world. So no sailing there. He hasn't really done any sailing, but oh well. As a child, he played funeral director for all the dead animals in his neighborhood. So he had a great imagination, and I think he probably still has that. This is a smile of someone with a great imagination. People who are late for appointments, he cannot stand. So he's timely, which means he might be organized, orderly, which also I think fits with the funeral director thing. I think if you're a funeral director, you're an orderly person. You are taking one of the more chaotic things, the more, the disintegration of life, and putting some order and some placement into it. And I think game design also fits with that. He'd like to be Leonardo da Vinci, an inventor, a designer, personal model. Just do it. He's most proud of his ability to draw and create with his hands. Reputation in high school is nondescript. He likes sailing, diving, and skiing. So he's an adventurous sort. Seems like a real character. He's got a sense of humor. I wonder what games he's designed, and if they are for computer or for analog, like this one. Let's take a quick look at his board position. He's actually not doing too poorly. I mentioned earlier he started out with a pretty large advantage over the other players in terms of resources in the middle of the pack here. Now I think this next scoring run he has a good chance of, which is after this turn actually, good chance of picking up quite a lot more points, and I wouldn't be super shocked if he didn't shoot out to the front. I think a lot is going to depend on this situation here between three fairly hefty powers. We have Junior, Pinky, who's holding this area with all the buildings, and then the Shogun here. There's going to have to be some thinking about in terms of turn order. Probably the last person to attack this province and take it is going to get they're going to get 2 points from the palaces. They're going to get at least a point off of this and a point off of this. So that's pretty big, unless there's some more building going on. But I don't think, with the exception of Shinano, I guess a lot will depend on what Sunny decides to build in Shinano. He can't build a palace, however, though, so the palace will be worth 2 points. Unless, I guess Junior could decide to build here, too. So that's what we're looking at. He's got this kind of like pinky area pretty well locked up, though Pinky could be doing some counterattacks. There's just a lot broiling around, and I think it's time to play. I think I mentioned last turn that the heavy spending some players were doing, namely Pinky and Betty Crocker, is really going to, would be a huge hindrance this turn if the taxation didn't happen early on. And it turns out it hasn't. It's somewhere in one of these hidden 5 cards. That is going to seriously, I think, hinder Betty Crocker and Pinky, especially since there's so much spendy items. There's like the top 4 largest expenditures are first. Betty Crocker can really afford only one of those, as can Pinky. So that is going to definitely, I think, focus them both more on this area of their action board, right? Specifically, these two are going to be important if they want to make any gains. So having a smart province from which to attack from is going to matter. Taxation, they might not even want to bother, really, because I'm going to play assuming that I think we're going to just play 2 years. I know I mentioned before we might do 3. I think Destructo is too far gone to really come back and make a huge difference at this point. And also it kind of since I'm playing in some cases like a week between turns, it feels like it's about time to move on, and especially since I hadn't played the game in a while and I'm kind of recovering. I would like to do a game of 3 years at some point, but I just don't think this is the right one. There was too much kind of remembering of rules rather than being comfortable with them to get a good feel for what a 3-year game would be like. Anyway, there's that tangent. Let's take a look at the 2 events that could be coming up here. Okay, so it's either one of these 2. Both not bad in the rice department. Not great, but no -4. That got taken off for this minimum 6. So anyone who does want to tax, which I don't think really anyone would. I mean, the only thing they're going to be able to get from their tax money at this point is a no theater or this, and that's if the chest happens to come up before either of those, right? Could be the chest is right there. So I don't know if taxation is really going to be too much in anyone's mind. This one also, this effect isn't really going to matter to people too much unless they go after a neutral territory. Let's see if that could happen anywhere. I guess Pinky could potentially go after Setsu. See if there's any other attractive ones. Destructo could go after Haida. A number of people could go after Haida or Noto. Yeah, I just don't think it's going to be huge on anyone's plate. You know, right now, gaining a new neutral province or territory is only going to give you 1 point. And you're not even taking that point from anyone else. So is it, yeah, you know, if they don't have anything else to do, it could matter. So our Shogun is in the position of having 10 provinces now. So he could technically activate every single one of his actions over there. Sadly, however, he doesn't have very much money, and most of the actions require money. So he's only going to be able to count on doing one action that costs money, and he decided to do that in Issa, which is right over here. He is going to be reinforcing Issa with his big reinforcements, using all his money on that. Reason why is Issa, it's got some good buildings, which helps him keep a lead in this kind of mauve area, and it's, you know, right in the middle of Pinky Town, so there's a good chance she's going to attack there. Luckily for him, the reinforcement is first thing. Unlucky for him, the reinforcement is first thing. You know, there's a good chance that Pinky might be reinforcing Omi here. So he's still going to have his second attack be from Wakasa. Remember, there's a race to be second in that attack. So now he has to decide what he's going to do with his other things. The only real options are going to be any of the things that cost 1 if he chooses to do a taxation, and there's really no reason not to. There's a chance he could be able to do these, and then the rice. Rice is going to be something to consider. He's 6 in terms of rice now. He's going to be losing at least 2 off of that, so he wants to get as much rice as possible. His big rice ones are Kaga, which is probably a good one to do. The only bad thing about Kaga is Destructo is right next to Kaga, And there's a chance that Destructo could take Kaga, in which case he'd get no rice at all. So let's look at what other options he has for rice. A Chizen would give him 4. Chizen's next to a couple of Pinky's provinces. Tajima, 4. Tajima, now Tajima might be nice for him, because the only person who could attack Tajima is Junior, and that's the Junior forces that are threatening Omi. So maybe he will do Tajima. Seems like the safest, and he definitely wants some rice, so he'll do that there. What else? He wants something. If he's going to do taxation, he wants another safe province to do that from. Owari's fairly safe. Remember, you want 6 or higher because of that. Tosa, he would probably lose Tosa because there's so much dissatisfaction there right now. Sanuki is dangerous. It's either Owari, Tosa, or Sanuki. The problem is Owari seems like it might be the best one. It is threatened right now. And this is Owari right here. And he might want to attack from Owari. So maybe it's better to decide where he wants to attack from for his second attack, or his first attack first. Now, let's think about Owari. If he was going to attack from Owari, where would he want to go? Probably Mino here. It'd just be a softening move. Problem is Shinano's right there, and Sunny's got a lot of forces there, and he could come and then take it. So is it even that nice to attack from Owari? Is there somewhere else he could attack from? He might just want to do an attack for the movement. Maybe he wants to attack from Awa Shikoku right here, and that would let him reinforce Sanuki in case Junior has Sanuki in mind. That might be the way to go. So he's going to do kind of a not attack from Awa Shikoku. He'll tax from Owari, and then that leaves his no theater and the small reinforcement move. So anyway, well, he could do Kaga for the no theater. That's in the north here. Again, he could lose Kaga to Destructo, but you know, what's he risking there? A point? Is there anywhere? Oh, you know, if he did Echizen for his little reinforcement, he could use that. Let's see. He could use the 1 cube, send it to Wakasa, and have 1 more cube in this battle, depending on how the action cards turn out. So that's what he'll do there. And then I think that'll work. The rest of them will just do nothing. And he has nothing to bid. Maybe he'll put a card down for the bid, which would help him. Okay, so what did he have? He has Key. Remember, whatever card you put for bid, you're tipping your hand that you're not doing anything else with that card. Key, he doesn't necessarily want to do that because that makes it really attractive for Pinky. Tosa, where's Tosa? Tosa? Yeah, Tosa seems like a good one. Because really, Tosa's not threatened by anyone and blah, blah, blah. Alright, Destructo got the bid for 2. He chose the special attack power. Junior was the next one. He bid 1. We're actually seeing some bidding now that people have money to spend. Junior took the rice, which was, he had kind of a tough choice to make. The rice was in the middle here. Remember, he's racing for the last attack with Betty Crocker, you know, to see who gets the final shot at Omi. The rice was important to him, though, so he took the rice. Betty Crocker and Sunny were tied. They both put down provinces. Sunny got it. Sunny took the defensive, and Betty Crocker took the reinforcements, which left Pinky with the money. I'm not even sure she put money down, but taxation down. But, you know, she'll get an additional one if she does. Speaking of that, the minimum is 6. That's the event, which means the end of the year, there's going to be a -3 to everyone's rice. All right, we've done our big building and reinforcements, and here are some things of note that have happened. First of all, Destructo, I think, built his first building of the game. He built a palace in Kazusa pretty ballsy move. He's really hoping, betting that Sunny is not going to attack with either of these two provinces, which there's a chance. Kazusa wasn't looking very attractive earlier. Now it does, though. There's a palace there that makes this province worth 3 points to him, unless Sunny builds another palace in that green zone. Oh, well, no. Makes it worth nothing, actually. So I don't even know why he did it. Maybe it has those reasons. Junior also built a palace in Harima. That's going to make there 3 palaces under 3 different ownerships in this kind of middle region. If he is able to take Omi, though, he will have the majority, and so he will get all 3 of the palace points. No other palaces were built. Let's see what else. Oh, reinforcements. Omi got reinforced, as did Issa, as we know. Reinforcements in Shimosa. Just some reinforcements. Some of those matter to the narrative we've been following. Most interesting, I think, of what just happened, though, is these 2 were revealed. That's the final expenditures of the game. That means the taxation is not going to have any effect on that whatsoever. And so, people who were maybe betting, I think Betty Crocker was one of those people, that the taxation might happen before these. Well, it's not going to. We know that now. More reinforcements and temples were built. Most interesting thing happened was Destructo built another building. He built a temple there. Sunny reinforced over there. Oh, and here's an interesting thing. In terms of Betty Crocker, anyway. Junior reinforced in Bison. I think we were, with the Awashikoku attack, Betty Crocker was thinking he might use that attack to just reinforce Sanuki. It looks like, since Junior's revealed that he's not attacking from Bison, he can do something else with Awashikoku. Probably attack Yo. Would make the most sense. In the middle of attack phase A, Destructo failed to take Shimosa. Sunny failed to take Shima. See, I think he failed to take Shima partially because Destructo tried to take Shimosa. Got rid of a lot of his cubes on that. Junior was successful in taking Owami from Destructo. It's just kind of sealing the deal on Destructo here, which is too bad. Now it's Awashikoku, Betty Crocker's Awashikoku against Pinky Zio. We'll see what happens. Dropping cubes. Looks like it's a tie. So a Yo is loses its temple. Goodbye, Yo. Attack phase B, final attacks of the game. We already had Destructo and Sunny went. They had an interesting little tit for tat. Destructo actually successfully took Hitachi. The odds were against him. It was, I think, 5-6 maybe. So that was really exciting for him. Finally, a little bit of success. But then he lost Kazusa. Sunny was attacking from Musashi. He was hoping to get some reinforcements there from Shinano, but wasn't able to do it because he lacked money. So instead he just attacked 1-for-1. Kazusa managed to eliminate the palace there, along with a cube from each of them. Junior had his attack. Instead of going after Omi, as was expected, he decided to just go ahead and take Setsu. He went with his live and let live rather than his fighter pilot on that one. The odds were really strongly against him, so that makes things not as attractive to Betty Crocker to attack Omi. However, he doesn't have really anything else to do with Wakasa. He could try to take Tamba, but Omi is just a much more attractive prize. So the odds are against him as well, but he's going all in. He could get lucky and take it. Here we go. Looks like he did not get very lucky. Yeah, so, whoops. We'll go ahead and count those. I bumped the tower a lot, and you just have to kind of deal with it. So, Pinky gets to keep all of her buildings, I think. I don't think anyone is going to be able to take those from her, which is nice, I think. She spent a lot of time and effort and capital in order to build up Omi. And for the final attack of the game, Pinky is attacking, it's sort of a similar situation as the Wakasa to Omi attack, except it's Yamato to Is. Similarly large prize, similarly bad odds, I think. So we'll see if she manages to take it. Issa had quite a lot of defenders, and I'm just going to guess. I am going to guess that I'm guessing that the Shogun kept it. And it's wintertime now. Here's the rice totals after the subtraction from the winter. Destructo, he actually had enough rice to feed his people, more than enough. Unfortunately, he couldn't sell the surplus. So Sunny had a rice revolt in Totomi. He succeeded in putting that down. Junior, however, was not so lucky. That Setsu that he took at the very end of the autumn there ended up revolting, and the farmers took back the province. So that attack kind of was for naught. But maybe not, because he would have had a revolt somewhere else instead. So now we will go to Betty Crocker. So Betty Crocker has the worst rice deficit of anyone. He's in this 3 column here. So he has to pick 2 provinces, and they get to add 2 farmers to the pot. His first one drawn is Tosa, which is already kind of in trouble. So it's going to add 4. He's going to have to go against 4 farmers. And we'll see if he keeps the province or not. And he does quite easily. I hope to have some other people go first and kill off some of those rascally farmers. And because Pinky has so few provinces left, this is going to be the last drop of the game. It's a revolt in Owari for Betty Crocker. And he takes it easily, not super climactic struggle, but still good to know he was able to either feed or beat into submission the people of his mini empire. I don't know if it's not really an empire. I don't know what they call it. The area they control within the country. Right, so here's how the score's looking just after I just counted up how many provinces people have and scored that. So we see the Shogun Betty Crocker's jumped ahead quite a bit. I think surpassed Pinky. I don't think she's going to catch back up to him. I think our leader is going to be down to him and Sunny. I haven't tabulated buildings yet. Destructo is way far in the back. I think he's out of the running. Alright, and here is how things have ended up. Our Shogun was just behind Sunny, just where he was before. It was pretty close. If he had taken this province, Omi, as was his plan, he would have taken the lead and won the game. Really though, you got to keep in mind Betty Crocker had a huge lead in terms of resources at the start of the game. However, maybe there was some psychology in that. Maybe he didn't really feel like he needed to try too hard. Who knows? But that's how they ended up. Junior finally tied up with Pinky right at the end. Just his hold in the east here allowed him to catch up, and then also Pinky kind of got hammered pretty hard. Destructo tailing in the back. I don't think there's any hope for him to catch up. I think it was wise not to do another year. And that's going to do it for Shogun for the Real People Multi-Game Solitaire Mega Tournament. I had a lot of fun as always with this game. I really got to get it to get some other humans to play with me. One reason I haven't is because it's a rather bulky game, and when I go to a game gathering, I'm never assured of being able to choose the game or convince people. Sometimes someone else really wants to play a game that they brought, and I will go with that. Other times I get to choose. But I never really know, and since it's so big and I have such a ways to travel to my game day, I don't want to lug something that big unless I'm positive that it's going to be played. So that's a hinderer for this game, but I've definitely got to get it on the table soon with some humans. I'd actually like to play it again with Real People cards, because I think it always works well with that. Like many games though, I think this one, it would be really nice to just be able to focus on your own role sometimes. So there we go. I think Sunny deserves a hearty congratulations. He played that well. He almost would have lost, I think kind of ironically, he almost lost a province due to starvation, which given how he was a more defensive player, more kind of building, kind of trying to make sure everything was secure. To lose in that way would have been hilarious. But it didn't happen. He was able to hold on to Totomi. If he hadn't, he would have tied with the Shogun, which would have been kind of cool too. Destructo, I have to say goodbye to him. I was really kind of pulling for him in my heart. I really like having a character named Destructo in the tournament. Makes a great villain, obviously, to have a Destructo around. We still got a good pool of people though. Junior, I like that he decided to live and let live there at the end and kind of just went for some neutral province. I think that was sort of a redemption for him, or like an interesting step in his character arc. He kind of put aside the fighter pilot right at the end when he could have had this climactic battle against Betty Crocker, which is who he had been clashing with for a majority of the game, to then turn in and let go. I have to say, just in terms of my own process and going through this, I wasn't expecting that, which is why it's always so much fun for me. I don't really know the decisions that people are going to make, even though I have a hand in those decisions. When it comes time for them to actually make that choice, whatever strategy or whatever plan they had sometimes goes out the window just because of what sort of makes sense in the moment in terms of them and the board state and their relationships to the other players. So great job, Real People. Great job, Shogun. Had a lot of fun with you. Going on to Warrior Knights, I'm not so sure. Let's see. Next time I'm actually going to play something else. Not Warrior Knights, but these characters are, with the exception of Destructo. God, he's such a good character. I'm going to miss him. Hopefully he does well in outdoor survival. The rest of these characters are going to go into Warrior Knights. I'm going to move back over to Alpha Bracket. I think we're heading to Battlestar Galactica to figure out who will represent the French and get to build chateaus, and here I stand. Next time, the Real People Multi-Game Solitaire Mega Tournament.